Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add a job in 360. Now we've covered how to create a quote and how to manage quotes and how to convert quotes into jobs. And this is going to be something different. This is where I add a job into the system that I have not quoted. Maybe it might be a time and materials only or a service order or something that does not have to go through the quoting process. You'll find it very similar to how you set a quote up with a couple of things that are unique to it. Let's start on our jobs dashboard or jobs list page, which I reach by selecting my jobs link in my navigation bar. And now I'm going to see a list of all the jobs that are in the system, and I'm going to go to the blue Add Job button. And it's going to start me going through the process here. So you'll notice that I'm on my customer info tab here. And again, you'll find the process similar to the quote building, except that I'm doing this from the jobs section and I'm not going to be providing a quote to anyone for it. So let's start by giving my job a name. And when I showed you how to do quotes, I created a scenario where we added a customer on the fly while we were creating that quote. In this, I'm going to show you how to use the system intuitively to pre-populate your customer information. So in this scenario, I'm going to create a job for an existing customer that's already in the system. So I'm going to start typing my customer name out. And now as I start typing in, I start to get options in the middle and on the right that are coming from customer and lead banks in the system. So it's asking me if the person I'm adding is one of these. So I'm going to say, yes, this is the one right here. And I'm going to click on that entry. Now you're going to notice that the rest of my page has options for me to pre-populate. So from that customer, this is my current main contact. If it's this person, I can just click and add it in here. Or if it's somebody new that's not in the system already, I can add that person at this time by filling out the information and not selecting the item on the right. So moving down, let's go to addresses. Here's my billing address, and I'm going to say that it is the one on the right here. And I'm going to go to my job site. If it was a unique job site, I could add it at this time. Just fill this information out and then save it. In this case, I'm going to say that it is, I can either select this over here, or I can say same as recipient, which is what I'm going to do. Fills it all out for me. Remember, if you don't know the zip code, you can enter the address, city, and state, hit the lookup link, and it will pull the zip code for you. So let's go to save this page. It's telling me on the top right that this item was saved successfully. And notice all of my other tabs are now illuminated and I can start and work in other areas. So let's go over to job info. Okay, the information that I filled out so far is filled out here. Got my job name, job type. I can change this if I want. I'm going to select this to somebody, which is always advisable. And I'm going to keep the status as new since I haven't scheduled the job yet. For summary, I'm going to give an overview of what the job is. This does not get printed anywhere. It's for internal work and internal use, so that anyone else who's working on this job gets a basic overview of what it is. I'm going to try something on this. You see the NTE stands for not to exceed. If you're doing time and material orders, a lot of times these get negotiated with the customer to say, not to exceed $1,000 or not to exceed $1,000 without communication or documentation or something like that. So I'm going to put that in here, and then I'm going to create my job to stay within that. The items up here, some of them apply and some of them don't. You can just show here, depending upon what your own procedures are, whether the contract is signed, if you have a PO, invoice, deposit, anything that's required. They are not required fields, so you can just fill them out as they apply to your business model. Let's save this. And now you'll see in job info, I have my job info page. and a list of other links across to the right here. I'm going to go to job items. Now, to be able to schedule an item, or to be able to schedule a job, I'm going to have one job item. That's a requirement with 360, is that any job has to have one job item. Now, in saying that, there's a lot of ways you can do this, depending upon how you want to track your performance or how you want to work in your job. You can have all your items mixed, all your work mixed into one item here. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to create an item here. You can have one item with all of your details spelled out here, or I can break it into multiple items if you want to. Sometimes that's good for more detailed tracking of your labor and materials. So that's something you have the flexibility with. You can just keep adding items as you go. I always, even though you don't have to put estimates in, I always advise it. If you're going to be wanting metrics and to want to track your performance, it's always good to at least enter something in that can be measured upon later. In this case, I'm going to say I'm estimating one journeyman at 4 hours, and then I'm going to put one apprentice in there. Also, excuse me, for 4 hours as well. And I'm going to estimate about $350 in materials. Again, here's my math here. It's totaled it up for me, or I can enter my own value, but I want to do one or the other, so don't leave it blank. In this case, I'm just going to go with the existing. I'm going to save it, and you'll see now it's created on the right, and I'm going to add another item. This is a description of what I want done for item 2. And for this one, I'm going to say and that'll be it. Okay, so I've created a job with 2 items. All my information is up here. If I'm not going to add any more, I'm going to move over here to go on to scheduling and other items, which I will show you on the next video. For now, this is how you create a job. Once you've created this job now, if you look at the top, you'll see today's job, and let's go to my jobs folder. And actually here it is right here. This is my customer, and it takes me back to the one that I just entered. Okay, so that's the basics. In the next video, I'm going to dig a little deeper into managing jobs in the different folders and to show you how to make requirements and to do scheduling. Thanks for listening, and enjoy 360.